Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to re-record this video. Unfortunately, I'm back here again making another video. I basically just have to re-record everything I just said from my previous video. So I just got done recording my predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver 2026 and all the audio is gone. Nobody can hear anything. So basically, I am re recording the video. Everything that I just got done saying for the past 20 minutes was for nothing. So here we go again. Everything that I was saying for the last 20 minutes, I gotta re say it again. Also, I'm very itchy for some reason. I don't know why, but here we are. You guys know how these videos go by now, so you guys already know what the deal is. I mean, I've been doing these predictions videos for years, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Like I said at the beginning of my predictions video that you can obviously not hear now, and I'm re-recording it right now. Basically, I said that I don't believe the card is subject to change. I don't think they're changing anything about this show. I don't think they're going to be adding any new matches. I think they already got NXT Stand and Deliver already figured out, so the card is not really subject to change. Also, if you're wanting to know where the show is going to be, it's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's also the first NXT Stand and Deliver that's not on the same day as WrestleMania, which is a good thing. So NXT Stand and Deliver comes out tomorrow. As I have already said in the previous predictions video that I got done recording, basically, 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 the show is going to be on YouTube because Peacock does not have the rights to stream NXT pay-per-views anymore. So NXT is going to be streaming on YouTube. It's going to be streaming on Netflix internationally. The pre-show for the pay-per-view starts at 6 p.m. on YouTube, and the regular show on YouTube starts at 7 p.m. And if you're looking to watch the pay-per-view internationally, it's on Netflix. As for what the future for NXT pay-per-views are, I have no idea. They could either get streaming rights to have it streamed on Netflix in America, or they could do the streaming rights or they can have the streaming rights for the pay-per-views be streamed on ESPN, but I'm not too sure. So the first match is a pre-show match. Hank, Tank, Charlotte Hill, EK Prosper, Ren Sinclair versus Birthright. My pick is Birthright. Um, yeah, Birthright. I'm gonna kind of make this video a little bit shorter because I already went over my thoughts already. The second match of the night is a tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Vanity Project, the champions, versus Los Americanos. I think the Vanity Projects are going to win. They're the safe pick going into this match. They're the safe pick going out of this match. I don't really see them losing the titles. A Los Americanos, they're not on NXT. I don't really see why they beat Birthright in the contendership match. Birthright is on NXT every week, and Birthright had actually had a chance of winning the titles from the Vanity Project, and yeah, Los Americanos, they're not really even on NXT. They're more on Monday Night Raw and AAA. And you know what the weird thing is that Los Americanos are baby faces on NXT and AAA, but they're heels on the main roster for Monday Night Raw, so I don't really understand that. And as for the Vanity Project, I'm not really the biggest fans of them, but the Vanity Project are the safe picks going into this match. They're the safe pick going out of this match, and they're my picks. Okay, the third match of the night is a singles match for the NXT North American Championship. Miles Bourne, the champion, versus Johnny Gargano. My pick is Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne is the safe pick going into this match. He's the safe pick going out of this match. and I just don't really see him losing the title to Johnny Gargano. Because, Johnny Gargano won that gauntlet match to become the number one contender for the NXT North American Championship, but Johnny Gargano is going through a slump. He's going through a losing streak right now, and I think that losing streak is going to continue for Johnny Gargano. I just don't really think that he's going to beat Miles Bourne for the title. And like I said, Miles Bourne is a safe pick going into this match. He's a safe pick going out of this match. And Miles Bourne hasn't really been the NXT North American champion for that long. He's only held the title for like 2.5, 3 months at most. So yeah, I think he's going to win. Also, I think this is really just a one-off for Johnny Gargano. I think they're really going to bring Johnny Gargano back to the main roster, and they're going to fix his slump and fix his losing streak on the main roster. The fourth match of the night is a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Jacy Jayne, the champion, versus Kendall Gray versus Lola Vice. My pick is Jacy Jayne and Lola Vice. Obviously, Jacy Jayne is one of my picks because she is a safe pick going into this match. She's also a safe pick going out of this match, and I just don't really see her losing the title. And she just has a good chance as anybody else of walking out of NXT Stand and Deliver still the NXT Women's Champion. My second pick is Lola Vice. As I have said on NXT Roadblock and NXT News, it was now or never for Lola Vice to win the NXT Championship. The past, the future, fate or destiny, whatever. It's now or never for Lola Vice to win the NXT Women's Championship. I'm going to put it plain and simple. Lola Vice is one of those wrestlers that could be in NXT for a few years and never win the title and be called up to the main roster. And that's looking like a real possibility for her right now because it's a real possibility for her because, like I have said before, Lola Vice has been on NXT for years. She's had 3 chances to win the NXT Championship, and she's lost all 3 times. And she's also fought for the NXT Women's North American Championship for a couple times, and she's lost 2 times. So it's now or never for Lola Vice. And as I have said for Kendall Gray on my NXT Roadblock predictions, on my NXT News, Kendall Gray just has much of a chance as Jacy Jayne and Lola Vice of winning this match because, like I said, Ren Sinclair won the WWE Women's Speed Championship from Fallon Henley, who's in Fatal Influence, and both of those WWE NXT wrestlers, Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray, are going after Fatal Influence. So Kendall Gray is definitely a possibility to win the NXT Women's Championship, but like I have said before, I think really Lola Vice is gonna, she's one of my picks because, like I said, it's now or it's never, it's future or destiny, it's like fate and destiny, whatever, stuff like that. So, Jacy Jayne and Lola Vice is my pick. The fifth match of the night is a singles match, Sol Ruca versus Zarya. My pick is Zarya. The reason why I picked Zarya is because I feel like Sol Ruca needs a big win. That's why Sol Ruca is my pick, because she needs a big win. Really, I don't think she really should even be in this situation. I feel like she should be NXT Women's Champion right now. I think she should be in the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship, but she is not because Sol Ruca and Zarya are feuding. Now, like I said, I think Sol Ruca needs to win. I think Sol Ruca needs a big win. I think she should be in the main event of NXT right now. And that's definitely a possibility after this feud is over. She could definitely go after the NXT Women's Championship again. Sol Ruca could win this match, and then the next night on NXT, Zarya attacks Sol Ruca and the feud continues, or Sol Ruca could win and the feud still continues, or Sol Ruca ends the feud and they have Sol Ruca chasing after the NXT Women's Championship. Anything is possible, but my pick is Sol Ruca. The sixth match of the night is a singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And my pick is Blake Monroe. And all I can say is that I feel bad for Tatum Paxley, because Tatum Paxley only held the NXT Women's Championship for 24 days, which is only 3 weeks. And Tatum Paxley has only held the NXT Women's North American Championship for only a month now. And Blake Monroe might win the title. There was a rumor going around like I always say, rumors are just rumors. Rumors are not always true, but they're not always wrong. They're not always correct. They're not always false. They're never right or wrong. They're never true or false. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. You never can get them fully correct. But the rumor that I was hearing is that Blake Monroe, she's not going to be called up to the main roster anytime soon, and they were saying that she was going to win the NXT Women's North American Championship back, and that's why I feel bad for Tatum Paxley, and that's why I feel like they're going to kind of do her dirty and have Blake Monroe win the title. And as you guys already know, Blake Monroe really never lost her NXT Women's North American Championship. Because she never lost the title, because she lost the title due to an accident. If you guys didn't know, a couple months ago on NXT, Blake Monroe lost her NXT Women's North American Championship via Thea Hale, and Thea Hale was never originally supposed to win the NXT Women's North American Championship from Blake Monroe. It was an accident. So then they had to rewrite storylines for Blake Monroe. The storylines were rewritten. And now we're here. Now we're back. Blake Monroe is now back in the NXT Women's North American Championship picture. And I think they're going to do Tatum Paxley dirty. And I just don't really see her leaving NXT Stand to Deliver NXT North American Champion. So my pick is Blake Monroe. And the seventh match of the night and the main event is a fatal four-way match for the NXT Championship. So, Joe Hendry, the champion, versus Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page versus Tony D'Angelo. My first pick is Tony D'Angelo, and my first pick is Tony D'Angelo because out of all three people that are in this match, Tony D'Angelo is the only person that has not won the NXT Championship. And the reason why Tony D'Angelo is in the situation that he is in right now is because originally they called Tony D'Angelo up to the main roster, and they called him up with his Mafia gimmick, and they realized that Tony D'Angelo's Mafia gimmick was not going to work on the main roster. So they called him back down to NXT. They gave him a new character. They made him reestablish his new character on NXT. He continued his old feud with Dark State. Dark State ran him out of NXT, and then they continued the feud with Dark State, and now here we are. Tony D'Angelo is challenging for the NXT Championship. And just like in the case of Lola Vice, it's now or never for Tony D'Angelo to win the NXT Championship because he's never won it. And in his first run, Tony D'Angelo never won the NXT Championship. So it's now or never, fate or destiny, past and future. It's now or never for Tony D'Angelo to win the championship. And Tony D'Angelo is a really cool wrestler, and I definitely think he deserves to win the NXT Championship. So he's one of my picks. My second pick is Ethan Page, and the reason why Ethan Page is my second pick is because there was a rumor going around. Yes, it's another rumor. Like I said, rumors are not always right. They're not always wrong. They're not true. They're not false. So they're not always 100% correct, but they're not always 100% wrong. They're not always right. They're not always wrong. But the rumor going around is that they wanted Ethan Page to win the NXT Championship one more time before he leaves NXT. Now, as of right now, as of what I know, they're not calling up Ethan Page to the main roster anytime soon. And the rumor going around was that they wanted Ethan Page to win the NXT Championship one more time. Now, Ethan Page has everything to win the NXT Championship again. He's got the character, he's a great heel, he's got the charisma, he's great on the microphone. This man, Ethan Page, he has everything. He is a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the making, and Ethan Page has everything to become the NXT Champion again. Now, what about Ricky Saints and Joe Hendry? Ricky Saints just has a good enough chance as anybody else. Ricky Saints, he's a great wrestler. He's great on the microphone. He has everything just like Ethan Page does. Same with Tony D'Angelo and Joe Hendry. But Ricky Saints, he's already won the NXT Championship twice. Why does he need to win it again? But there's a definitely possibility that he could win it again in this match because they're not calling up Ricky Saints to the main roster anytime soon. So Ricky Saints could definitely win the NXT Championship again. He definitely has a possibility of winning the title, and he definitely could win it. Now, as for Joe Hendry, I'm sorry, everybody. I have to say this, but there's no way that Joe Hendry is winning this match. He's not winning it. Now, as much as I like Joe Hendry, as much as I like the character, as much as I like his comedian character, as much as I like his music, as much as I like everything about Joe Hendry is just simply not going to win this match. I'm sorry if I feel like a mark here. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm in the internet wrestling community. And I'm sorry I feel like I'm disrespecting your wrestler, but Joe Hendry always was going to be a transitional champion. Now, he had a good run with the title. He held the title for 3 months, but I knew since the beginning that Joe Hendry was going to be a transitional champion and that Joe Hendry was going to lose the title to one of these three guys. I knew that he was either going to lose it to Tony D'Angelo, Ethan Page, or Ricky Saints. Realistically, Ricky Saints should have won the title at the last pay-per-view, and realistically, this should have been a triple threat match, but that did not happen because Joe Hendry retained against Ricky Saints, which I was shocked about because I thought Ricky Saints was going to win the title, but I guess I was wrong. But yeah, Tony D'Angelo, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints have more of a chance of winning this match than Joe Hendry does. I mean, yes, in the terms of the match, every wrestler has a 25% chance of winning the title. So there's definitely a chance that Joe Hendry could win the title, but like I said before, Joe Hendry, he should have lost the title to Ricky Saints at the last pay-per-view, and he didn't. And Joe Hendry, I already knew he was going to be a transitional champion. As much as I like Joe Hendry, as much as I like Joe Hendry as a character, as much as I like his community gimmick, and as much as I like everything about him, I just know that he's not going to win this match. And those are my picks. Tony D'Angelo and Ethan Page. And those are my predictions and reactions for NXT Stand and Deliver 2026. Please post a comment. What are your predictions and reactions for NXT Stand and Deliver 2026? And I am sorry, guys, about this video happening so late. The audio for my original video, there was no original audio for my original video. That video was already 20 minutes, and I already recorded the 20 minutes, and the audio for that video wasn't working, so I had to record the video again for another 20 minutes to say everything that I wanted to say, like I said in my previous video that I made for my predictions, and I'm sorry this is coming out so late. This was literally supposed to come out right after my Friday Night SmackDown news video, but then, my phone had to do its phony baloney fucking bullshit, so here we are. But thank you for everybody watching. Please don't forget to please like, subscribe, and comment to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace, period, guys. Peace.